me. Let's start. Today, we're going to do, I'm not going to go through the question because the question is honestly quite straightforward, right? If you didn't understand the question, you can always ask me. But today, let me just get my thing going. Today, we're going to do an area that is going to be very interesting. And you will notice that oftentimes I do not work on a textbook basis. I work on a needs basis, meaning to say what the subject matter needs, what the subject matter requires, right? The standard and the quality of the learning. I'm not sure if you are aware, if you've had some exposure. If you were sitting in a classroom in Chicago or in Brisbane in Australia, or in Leeds University, or in Beifang University in China, right, or in Cape Town University in South Africa, it will not get any better than this. I guarantee you. I do not kid you. I guarantee you, simply because I've taught in those institutions, right? By the end of today, you tell me whether what I'm saying is correct or wrong. All right. And the other thing is, the class will not be long because we just need to do what we need to do, because then this one will hold you in good stead, not only for the subject of entrepreneurship, but for everything that you do, right? At your work, at new ideas that you're thinking about. It should totally blow your mind, right? And what's going to happen is the learning today is going to take you to a new level, but whether or not you can handle the sophistication and apply it to your assignment question answer, that I don't know. That I don't know. That depends on you. But I'll tell you, 98% of my students can't do it. They can learn it, seem to understand it, but they cannot apply it to the question or to the situation or to the scenario. They can't, right? So you decide, you try it, all right? Because that'll uplift you. And I'm really excited about this simply because there's so few students now doing entrepreneurship. I don't know if you realize, you look at your class now, there's only 3, right? So few. But if you did the first assignment and so on, and you've actually read around it, you will realize sebenarnya keusahawanan is like super important for any country in the world. Because one of the greatest challenges for countries is employment, creating employment, right? It's very important. But oftentimes people don't address it because, to be honest, it's fairly difficult, right? So today, over the next, let me see. Yes, over the next 33 minutes and 14 seconds, that's all the attention you need to pay. Don't you dare pay me more attention. I don't need that. 33 minutes and 14 seconds, and we'll be on our way. We have done a great job. It'll be a fantastic week. All right, guys. So if you're good, we'll start with this one and end it this one. So market testing and instrumentation principles, right? Guys, the word principles alone should alert you, because principles, what does that mean? That means it applies in many situations, not rules and regulations, principles. Right. So now that we've established that, we want to make dreams come true, right? That's the beauty of entrepreneurship, keusahawanan, making dreams come true, right? Sometimes you're working 9 to 5. I don't want to work my job every time 9 to 5. Clock watching. I used to do that when I was young. Because those days, dulu masa dulu, zaman. I used the word. There's no such thing as entrepreneurship. You go there, you find a job, you work, no matter what. And we always look at the clock, tunggu pukul 5, ciao. You know, so sometimes you're a dreamer, sometimes you're passionate about something, sometimes you think to yourself, Harry is thinking to himself, what is my full potential? Could I be that billionaire? Could I be that Vincent Tan? He's asking himself here, right? Not the full potential you want to achieve. But whatever your dreams are, guys, the key thing to remember is to be specific, right? Maybe you want freedom, maybe you want to make money, maybe you want to join a blue chip company. Nothing wrong with that. Maybe you just want to run an NGO, help people also. That's also a dream, and that's fine, right? The important thing, backdrop to all of this, is that don't think too small. A lot of you people will go and start a business, right? They will start small, 5,000 ringgit. So I start some small business, blah, blah, blah. Very often, and this is the reality, small business will not last. Okay. And the other thing is, entrepreneurship is not a job substitute. Don't think that, oh, because I'm working, I'm not happy, I'm going to. No, that's not how it works as well, right? So yeah, so the bigger you start off, the bigger you get, the more successful, right? Right. Think in terms of Grab, billion-dollar company, Grab. Think, fantastic, too exciting, right? The key question, right, guys, is it interesting or is it important? Is it interesting or important, the idea that you have? So when you're doing your assignment, you should pose this question. They said, come up with a new business idea. Is it interesting or important? What does that mean? Well, let's say Chan goes and starts a new business. He says, I'm going to start. So he opens a cafe. Cafe lah. Nice business, making coffee, kind of like a bit of a Starbucks sort of approach, right? And that's great, right? So he opens a cafe, and it got internet as well. Then somebody else goes and opens, does something, say, scientific. They invent a needle that can only be used once. Why? Because young little kids are getting AIDS, especially in Africa. In Africa, children who are 2 years old, 1 year old, 6 months old get AIDS. How come? Well, because in those underdeveloped countries, people use the needle on one person and use it on another person as well. The syringe, the syringe, they do that, unfortunately. And so, even though they're advised not to, so you invent a syringe where you can only use it once. It means once you press it down, you know what a syringe looks like? A needle, syringe, the doctor. But once you press it down, you cannot pull it up again. It's a one-off use. So you have to throw it away. Tak boleh pakai lagi. So you invent something like that, and now you're going to manufacture that and sell it globally. Now, if you compare the cafe business and this syringe, which one is interesting and which one is important?
Syringe business is important.
And the cafe?
Not interesting.
Interesting.
Maybe,
so, yeah, that's right. So, guys, that's all you need to understand. And where does this come from? It comes from Stanford Research Institute. And how do I know that? Because I spent 1 week with Dr. Curtis Carlson of Stanford. 1 week in Malaysia. I spent 1 week. I wasn't there, but he was here. Well, I am kind of important. So anyway, point is, and he said that. And he's right. Isn't that a good way to distinguish a business? So now Harry is thinking, I want to start a business. Harry, all you have to do is ask a question, is it interesting or important? That'll make a difference. That should help you decide. And Stanford does that, and they've been successful. If you go and read the story of Stanford SRI, and you read the background, and then you will realize why they are so successful. All right, so that's something to think about. That's one. So that's one. Huh? Second, will you champion the project? This is the second question that Stanford asked. Dr. Curtis Carlson says, whenever somebody walks into my office, and says that, oh, sir, I have a great idea. We need some funding and we should do this and we're going to be really great. And he thinks it's a great idea. But the second question he will ask is this: will you champion the project? Bermakna, if you come and ask me and suggest a project, who's going to run the project? It should be you. It's your idea. You're passionate about it. You should run it. You see, in Malaysia, unfortunately, I give you an example. Do you know, just down my road where I stay, there's a Petronas station. That Petronas station has been failing for the last almost 10 years, losing money. A Petronas station losing money? Oh man, that's really weak. Don't you think? Why is it losing money? Is it because Petronas is no good? No. You know why? Because the person who gets the contract or the opportunity to run the Petronas, he doesn't run it. He takes it, he gives it to his cousin. Hey, here's a business, you run. Then he goes and makes another contact. He gets another business. Hey, you run. Not what he's interested in. Dia bagi saja orang. So the person who's taking over the business, the cousin, the nephew, the niece, they're not interested. This is not their passion. For them, it's just another job. So when they run it badly. The finances got problem, the supply got problem, the operations got problem constantly. Why? Because the person who was interested in the first place was not running the project. And in Malaysia, this is a big problem because a lot of people with good connection, dia dapat banyak opportunity. Betul tak? They get many opportunities, but they don't run it. So this is not working as well. So in Stanford, that's the next question. Something to think about, something for you to ask. So the key with entrepreneurship is whatever your goals are, it'll help you to get to that place really fast. Okay, and that's the exciting part of it. Okay, so how do you get there fast? Talk is easy, right? Doing is a little bit more difficult, or rather analyzing and finding out how, right? The important thing to remember is entrepreneurship is a context sport. It's not writing down on a piece of paper something, just talking about it. No. It's doing, all right? It's all about doing for certain. So remember we talked about, can you come up with remarkable ideas? So the idea becomes the key. The key is the idea, and then you need to have sound business plans. We'll talk about both of these things shortly, okay? And the most important thing is everybody can learn. Somebody will say, oh, I cannot do that. Somebody can, no, nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. I've had students, right, who were struggling, young students, at Uni Razak itself, who have become rather successful, right? They come from very poor backgrounds. They don't have, but with the right guidance, they have been successful. If some of you may have come across brands like Zev Shoes, Z-E-V-E Shoes. This guy runs shoes. He's from our university, young guy, and so with the right guidance. So very exciting in that sense. I just remind you about this. Consumers don't care about you at all. Remember this one? You should remember this all the time. Why? Because our choices are many. Just to remind you. Okay. Now, somebody did a study covering 77 countries. And one of the key things that they found was that businesses always kind of like fail at the T stage. They call it total early stage entrepreneurial activity. Intention, start, and when they are between that time, within the 3 years time, after they start, after they are nascent and they start, they fail. Failure rate is very, very high. Okay, and that's really quite scary. So, of course, we need to know why. So basically, by having this understanding as to why business fail and when they fail, we can try and address that problem. Okay, which is what we're going to try and do today, right? So it's going to be a huge. So we talked about this, too many choices, too little time, people ignore. we said this, right? The Americans ask the question, what is my customer's pain? That is a question that Americans ask. What is my customer's pain? Okay. So if Chan decides to open the cafe I told you just now, if Chan asks this question, what is my customer's pain? Maybe Chan may not open the cafe. If he asks the first question, interesting or important, already that's an indication, can? If he asks a further question, what is my customer's pain? This is the American entrepreneur, good question they always ask. Then Chan will say, hey, but around here, got a lot of cafe, Starbucks, the other coffee shop, Kopitiam, Old Town White Coffee, so many. So what is my customer? If my customer wants a cup of coffee, does he have to come to my new place, which I'm going to set up? It will cost me $300,000? No, right now. That's one question. The other question is, how high is my customer's pain? Is it like he needs my particular coffee so badly? Is there a compelling reason? A very simple example, guys. Think about it. Just think about it. In your house, if your tap is leaking one drop, after 1 minute, another drop, will you bother? You won't, because only your wife will bother. Hey, Chan, go fix the thing lah. Same with me also. Won't bother. You fellas are lazy buggers. All won't bother. Only the wife will say, please, fix. So you didn't bother. But bila the thing is really pouring under the sink, some more on the floor, all wet. Hey, hold on. Now you got to do something. Your pain is high. Kan? Your pain is high. So when your pain is high, what will you do? You see, my wife is very smart. When her pain is high, she will never ask me because she knows I'll make it worse. She'll call a plumber. You know, that's called experience. By the time I find the tools, she has to build a boat to sail out of the kitchen. Y'all don't laugh, okay? Don't make it look like it's only my problem, okay? Don't make it make me look bad. So anyway, the point is, the pain must be high. So if somebody wants to use a service, the pain must be high. Kan? Kalau tidak buat apa dia nak bayar? They won't pay you. They won't pay you for it. So this is important. Okay. So this is something to think about. This is what the American style of thinking. What is my customer's pain? So now the question we come to today, which is really important. Now this is where we start. How to determine market opportunity and show high growth. We talked about all those things, right? So how do we do it? How do we test? How do we know? So Kyrie has a business idea. Gaddafi has a business idea. How do we know? And we'll find out by the end of today. Okay. 2 instruments you need to apply, guys. This is so cool. And you know what? I tell you why these instruments are so cool. Nothing to do with me. Well, okay, something to do with me. But more importantly, because you can do it in your head. You don't need a pen, a paper, a calculator, shit, nothing like that. This is good shit, man. Pardon my French. Yeah, you can do it in your head. That's the coolest thing, in my opinion, anyway. So literally you're thinking on your feet. I'll show you how. Okay. First thing, aha, you must apply the Xavier's high growth instrument. Yeah. Some of you are thinking, I've heard that name before. You don't laugh, okay? Xavier's high growth instrument first. After you apply, this is a 2-pronged approach. First, the Xavier's high growth instrument, and secondly, Barney's sustainability instrument. So you're applying 2. Why? Listen carefully. The first one is to determine high growth. The second one is to ensure sustainability. Just because you have high growth doesn't mean you are sustainable. All right? And why high growth? I'll tell you why high growth. And this one you learn from me, guys. If you're going to do a business that's going to be a job replacement or help you survive, don't waste your time. Just don't waste your time. If you're going to do something that bloody change your life and your family's life and people around you. Do that. Right? Don't do business that's going to be like, I'm earning now 10,000. So when I run this business, I'll make 20,000. Don't waste your time. Right? Take it from me. I've been there. I've done that. So it's either high growth or nothing, in my opinion, and sustainability, right? Something that will change your life, right? Something that will move you. This is the reality. You won't read it in a book. So let's now think about the Xavier's high growth. What does that mean? That means to validate your idea, to validate, to check, right? To decide. Okay. The first point, there are three things to the Xavier's high growth. The first criteria is it scalable? Is the idea scalable? Now, what do we mean by scalable? I'm sure some of you may have heard that word before. I'll give you an example to explain. No need to use words. Just think. Sit back and think about this example, okay? I put some words here. Don't worry about it. Norton antivirus. I'll give you an example so that you'll understand. Now, Norton antivirus, when they want to make an antivirus software, what do? They bring in about 30 engineers, put them in a room. Everybody works on it for 6 months, and then you have the software. That's it. After that, they can all balik. Right? But now, yeah, you spend some money, sure. But now after 6 months, I can sell one, no problem. Let's say Chan wants to buy one. Okay, fine. Here's one of the advice. It's software. I just send it to him. He could be anywhere in the world. He could be in Sweden, no problem. I could sell it to one person anywhere in the world, or I could sell it to 1 million people across the globe. Isn't it? And my cost doesn't go up. Scalable. That's what scalable means. You understand? That's what scalable means. I can sell it to one person. I can sell it to 1 million, 20 million people. My cost hardly goes up, right? Technology does that, right? That's why you have all these guys who are becoming billionaires out there. Right? So this is a question you want to ask of your business idea. Whatever idea you have in your head, ask this question. Is it scalable? Yes or no? Very simple. Okay, that's one. Then, the second thing you want to ask is it replicable? Now, what does replicable mean? Again, I give you an example because we don't like words, though there are some. McDonald's. Is it replicable? McDonald's in Kuala Lumpur, in Johor Bahru, in Kedah is the same. The McDonald's in Singapore is the same. The McDonald's literally across the world is the same. The way they make their fries is the same. It's replicable. What does that mean? That means it can be repeated. Yes or not? It can be repeated. So you ask of your business idea, is it replicable or not? Yes or no? Okay, that's the question you ask. Third, is it long-tailed? Is your business idea long-tailed? Now, what does long-tail mean? Long-tail means it's actually a statistical term. It's not some monkey in the zoo. Long-tail means is a statistical term to describe a situation where, right, sometimes people want to buy a lot of one thing and very few of other things. Let me give you an example. All right. So let's say a bookshop. A bookshop in Texas. Here's a bookshop in Houston, Texas. It's a big bookshop, lots of books. But across town, in the outskirts, one day this Texan guy wakes up one morning. He wakes up one morning and he says, I would like to, I heard about this country called Malaysia. Interesting country. Malaysia. I want to find out more about Malaysia. Of course, this never happens, but this is fantasy. So he wants to find out more about Malaysia. He wakes up. I don't know why. Maybe he had too much to drink. Anyway, then he says, not only do I want to find out about Malaysia, I want to find out about this thing called Merdeka. I heard this Malaysia thing got this Merdeka thing. What is this? So what does he do? He has to go to the bookshop. He wants to buy a book about Malaysia, talking about Merdeka. Right now. So he gets up morning, puts on his boots, gets on his horse, and goes to the bookshop. That one I'm exaggerating. Actually, I'm exaggerating. Okay, whatever, he gets to the bookshop, bloody hell. He's there. So he goes to the bookshop and he goes to the lady and says, ma'am, and he's wearing his 10-gallon hat, by the way. Ma'am, I would like a book about Malaysia that talks about Merdeka. Well, needless to say, the lady will give him a look like, which zoo are you from? But never mind. Because if you know Americans, they don't know where Malaysia is, by the way. Right? I've traveled to across the whole of the United States, and they don't know. Useless buggers. Anyway, point is, but never mind, Gaddafi, it's okay. When they don't know, they can't invade us. Haha, they can't find us. So anyway, so he asked this lady, and the lady doesn't know. So what is this situation? In the whole of Texas, guys, the whole of Texas, there's only one guy who wants to know about Malaysia. One guy, he wants to buy one book, but he's a customer, but they can't supply. So statistically, we say, when you do statistics, you will say, you will have a graph that goes up, there's a high demand, and then it runs long and lean across, where there are the singular demands, okay? Example, many times I want to buy a book or I want to buy something. I can't get it in the Malaysian bookstore. Where will I go to order that book?
Online?
Yeah, from where? Of course, online.
Amazon?
Exactly right. That is the answer. Scalability, a good example is Amazon. Amazon has grown so large and become one of the largest in the world, making that chapter one of the richest men. And the wife who divorced him equally rich, but that's a separate story. The point is, he can take care, guys, he can take care of the long tail aspect of the business. Apa maknanya? This is it. That long tail, that end there, he can take care of that part of the business. You understand? So if your business can take care of that long tail part of the business, yes or no, then we say that you have great high growth opportunity. You understand? Let me give you another example, because, and you've got to wrap your head around this one, because otherwise if you don't understand, you can't apply. Let's say Hairi decides to go and open a ink cartridge business. Ink cartridges is useful, and everybody needs it. Everybody's got printers. I've got 3 printers at home that none of it works. I don't know. I have no luck with printers somehow. It just doesn't work. But never mind. So Harry opens and he's selling ink cartridges. And he opens a shop selling ink cartridges. So the question you're asking is Harry's business idea long-tailed? Can we include that long-tail aspect? Is it long-tailed? How do we answer that question? The way we answer the question is, if somebody walks into Harry's store and says, hey, Harry, I want to get a Canon 465 XR cartridge. And Harry says, yes, Ken, I got it for you. Here you go. Good. The question is, can Harry satisfy every single customer that walks in with a very specific ink cartridge that he wants? And guys, think about it. Ink cartridges are many types, many models, many. Canon la, Brother la, you name it, Epson la, and each one has got many models, old and new. Do you answer me this question? Do you think Harry can satisfy every single customer that walks in, yes or no?
No.
No. If you say no, that means his business is not long-tailed. It's not long-tailed. So this is how we apply it. Okay, so think about that. So I put some points here you can understand. So that's amazing. Amazon, of course, has got an amazing search engine optimization, what should I say, ability. All right. So if you understand SEO and all that, You will see that that's how it works, right? So the point is that as your business should have at least one of the three characteristics. It must be scalable or, note the word or, replicable or long tail. So when you apply Xavier's, you just need one to determine high growth. If you cannot get even one of this, immediately drop the business idea. Don't do. Jangan buat. Jangan buang masa. You understand? So, or, remember the word or, because it's going to be very important when you're going to apply it. So it's going to be scalable or replicable or long tail. Those three things only. For now, what you need to do is understand. As I am speaking about it, you must understand. If you can't remember, never mind, but you must understand at this point. Later you read the notes and you can try and recall, right? So this is what you need to do. Or, don't forget, at least one, right? Then you apply Xavier's. Now, if you get one, let's say Hairi is doing a business and Hairi says, oh yeah, okay, my business is replicable. Why? Because Sir said, using McDonald's as an example, and more or less we are there, we are also replicable. Good, fine, good. Then, if that's the case, then you go ahead and apply Barney's. You go on to the second. Only then. Now, Barney says, some of you may be familiar with Barney's sustainable competitive advantage. Barney asked the question, is your idea valuable? Yes or no? Isn't it? Now we're going to use Barney to test. Is it valuable? Yes or no? What does valuable mean? Valuable mean, guys, it's a very broad term. It can mean the process that you use that nobody else has. It can be because of your networking. It can be because you can attend to customer fantastically. You have skills and abilities. You have many other things. And then, or maybe it's just a brilliant idea. So the idea of what Barney means by valuable is pretty subjective, but at the same time objective. It's a bit strange in the sense that you can decide. So Kyrie says, oh, this idea that I have, it is valuable, right? Why? Because I can give amazing customer service. Or the thing that I'm making is something so unique, right? My grandmother's recipe, nobody else has this, KFC secret recipe, things like that. So valuable means that. So that's the first test. Yes or no. Then you go on to the next one. If not valuable, you must ask this question: how can this be overcome? How to solve it? How to solve? It's a good problem to think about, right? Secondly, is your idea rare? Rare means what? Right? Rare
Unique.
means uncommon. Uncommon, isn't it? I give you an example. Common business, kedai runcit lah, cafe lah, one-stop print shop, everywhere got lah. Kan? Example of it's kais pagi makan pagi. Don't do. Jangan buang masa. You guys are too smart for that. Okay? Or it's an uncommon business, overnight printing. Do you know that there are companies here that are specialized in sustainable printing using different types of materials and ink? Who's their customer? If you go and print something here, what will cost you 7 ringgit in a shop will cost you here maybe 75 ringgit. Oops, that's pretty expensive. Yeah, but it's saving the earth lah. What lah you? You know who's their customer? Their customer, not you lah. You fellas don't care about the earth. Gaddafi, yeah, you look at him, he doesn't give a hoot. He's busy driving his gas guzzling car. Yeah, he's there. He's driving his gas. Hairi, you don't laugh, okay? Like Hairi is like, he's going to take a plane with electric plane, it seems. He's going to fly now. He's also going to use gas. You see, all you fellas are too much, Laugh at each other. None of you are each other's friends, that's for sure. Hairi. These people's customer are specialized customers. Their customers are in Europe or in US or somewhere else. Okay, so profit margins are very high, and they meet the sustainable forest SFI standards and all that. Something some of you may not be aware of, but there you go. Uncommon business. This uncommon business is what? Kais pagi makan setahun. This is mine, by the way. Don't simply use it, and you do, please reference me appropriately. Kais pagi makan setahun, not kais pagi makan pagi. So some of my students are very smart, of course, needless to say, too smart. You know what I say? Sir, that means, sir, this is, what do you mean? Illegal business, sir, illegal business. Hello, hello, hello. Nobody's talking about illegal business here. What it means is the profit you make, let's say the profit you make, you can hire good people to work for you, right? Not you can give them good service. I give you a very simple example. I tell you, those days in Malaysia, probably even today, the Kwailo will come and sell something, you know. He will sell for 50 ringgit. Those days, 50 ringgit is a lot of money. Oh, you want this special part? This is 50 ringgit. Then the local Malaysian businessman, usually the Chinese businessman, 50 ringgit. Don't buy so expensive. Never mind. I supply for 10 ringgit only. The item is only 5 ringgit. So he supplies for 10 ringgit. The Kwailo is selling for 50 ringgit. So, oh. But after 50 years, the local businessman's business is still the same business. He's grown a little bit, not much. He's still doing, his wife is doing, his son is doing, he's working on that business. But the Quailo's business, where is it? Oh, it's become a listed company. They have accountants working for them. They have innovators working for them, engineers working for them. It's grown. So when the item is 5 ringgit, you make 50 ringgit. Is it because you're greedy? No. Is it because you're mengaut keuntungan? People talk like that, all that nonsense talk? No. When it's 5 ringgit and you can charge 50 ringgit, the difference of 45 ringgit is to allow you to hire people to work for you and to come up with future new products and new things and so on. Because when the item is 5 ringgit and you're selling for 10 ringgit, you work yourself. And how long can you work? Right now, 30 years, 40 years, doing the same shit. You want to do that? Nonsense. It's a waste of time. Work is a 4-letter word. Just remind you. That's why my classes are very short. Chan, don't quote me, Chan. Work is a 4-letter word. Let's get that real, okay?
Reference, right, sir?
Chan is learning too fast. Don't need. If anyone, any of you, your lecturers, anybody tell you, work hard, nonsense. My father used to do that. My father, until 70 years old, he worked with Bank of America. Such a loser, you know. What nonsense. It's like, what? You know. So what I'm saying is, no. So this is why, guys, your business must be guys bagi makan setahun. You understand? Right. I love the Malay peribahasa is one of my favorite things. You know, harapkan pegar makan padi. Beautiful. Because it's over hundreds of years and people have refined it and it's a truism, you know. And then the Malaysian student and teacher teaches the student, harapkan pagar makan padi. We learned that in school. Harapkan, I used to say young boys, you know, what the hell? Pagar boleh makan padi? Nggak boleh. But it's not pagar, it's pegar. Gaddafi, you don't believe me, ask Gaddafi. He's also another expert on peribahasa, I hope. Jangan buka pekung di dada. Don't mess around. Once I get into that Malay zone, you guys, the peribahasa will... But I really, honestly, I love peribahasa. And I wish they taught it more in school. I used to, the little that I learned by myself. Bagai melepaskan batuk di tangga. I say, how beautiful is that? And then they taught us in school, batuk, coughing, bagai melepaskan batuk di tangga. Even the teacher pun tak tahu, tak guna. And then I, of course, of my pure interest and passion in it, found the batuk is actually the the container kan in the old Malay household because you are naik tangga kan. So and the place they come Sawapadi and it's very muddy sometimes when they want to climb up there. So it's a very peribahasa. I mean, I'm digressing lah, but it's such a beautiful, powerful thing that surprisingly I don't know if you all notice or not. Your nephew, nieces, or they don't emphasize that. You know, they should put me in charge of Dewan Bahasa and Pustaka. Hari, what do you say? What do you say? Put me in charge. I will not
consider that. They
Huh?
should consider that.
Yeah,
They should consider that.
Harry, you will go far in this class and life. Chan and Garafi are out because they they fail to see the wisdom and the specter before them. You put me in charge of Dewan Bahasa Pustaka, I will whip the guys into shape, bugger. Every minister, when he opens a speech, there will be a pantun or a paribhasa, because these are the subtleties and the finesse of the language. I don't know why people cannot understand it. And you know, I actually look for books on paribhasa. I can't find it. Would you believe? So that's an opportunity. But because you know why? These are paribhasa is like principle, you know. If you apply it today, 20 years down the line, you can apply it. Isn't that worth learning? It's worth learning something that's true. But anyway. So yes or no? If not rare, how can this? If your item is not rare, right? It's available everywhere. How can you make it rare? How can you make it special? How can you make it different? Okay. Thirdly, Bani says, can your idea be copied? Can people copy your idea? Yes or no? You must ask this question. Yes or no? Is it can be copied? If it can be copied, something must. Can others do the same thing that you are doing? Then you this. So these are very tough questions, but important questions that goes towards sustainability. Copying. Everybody's scared to copy. Oh, I cannot copy. I won't use technology. I won't use ChatGPT. Kind of nonsense. Look at this picture. What does that tell you? Even big, large companies copy each other. Apple will copy Samsung. Samsung will copy Apple. Right? And imagine the guy who doesn't copy anybody. What's happened to him? Look at Nokia. I'm sorry, but this is life.
They become Nokia already.
So bad. I didn't say that. I am a good guy. I can only direct you. Very bad. I make a quick disclaimer. I did not teach any of those things and did not encourage you along those lines. But my point is, you read journals so that you understand scientific learning, and then you can stand on their shoulders and learn new things. Right? This is how it works. So it can be copied. If your item is unique and people can copy you, sometimes you need to maybe patent it. And maybe you can patent it. Maybe you can make it so different. Maybe it can be a secret, can be whatever, but you need something, right? I put you some points here you can check. Does your idea allow for substitution? That's the next question. Can it be substituted? That means if I don't use this, can I use something else? It's always a good question, isn't it? Right? Different goods. I put an explanation here. When you get back, you can read that. So, for example, very simple. I ask you to drive now from KL to Penang. I said, hey, I want you to go from KL to Penang. So you can either go from KL to Penang, you can either take a bus, you can take a train, you can cycle, you can run. Maybe you jump into the Port Dickson and you swim all the way. Also can. The point is you still get there. So substitution, right? Substitution. But if I tell you, hey, I want you to get from KL to Penang in 2 hours, suddenly you're thinking differently. Maybe you have to take a flight, right? Okay, so things like that. So basically, substitution is a big issue. But remember, guys, when in Barney's criteria that I mentioned just now, you must meet all of it. Barney's criteria is strict. Keep that in mind. Just now in Xavier's, it's all. In Barney's, it's a must. Right? That means it needs to be valuable. It needs to be rare. It needs to be something that cannot be copied, and it must be non-substitutable. Right? Only then can you say that your business has a competitive advantage. So Barney's requirements are very strict and very challenging. Right? But what happens when you apply both together? Right? So these instruments you apply Xavier's high growth, then you think about sustainability. If your business has got no high growth, like I told you before, don't waste your time, right? And note, after a while, once you're familiar with the criteria, you can apply it in your head. You can apply Barney's in your head as well. You don't need a piece of paper, right? And even if your business not so good, cannot work, tak apa, but now you're asking the right questions. A lot of time people ask the wrong questions. Oh, can I make a profit? What is the margin? Or just marketing, costing type questions. Not good enough. Okay. Asking the right questions. You know how I apply this? And when I teach you this, it's not, I'm telling you, no, I actually apply it. In your life, many times, somebody will come up to you and they will say, hey, Hari, I got a business idea. We want to invest a lot in this idea. They'll come to you. Then you must always say yes, especially if it's your relative lah. Kan? Kalau you say no, they say, ni sombong lah, apalah ni lah, ya, lagi teruk. Relatives are the worst. Okay. Always say yes, yes. What is your business idea? So you say, the guy will say, oh, well, let's meet up. Let's meet up for a coffee at a hotel. Nice. Okay, fine, good. So you go there, you have a coffee. Now while you're having a coffee with him or her, they're telling you the business idea. As they're telling you about the business idea, you are running in your head. Is this business idea scalable? Is it replicable? Is it long tail? And as he is telling you about the idea, you realize that, hey, this business idea can hit one of the three. Can hit one of the three, which means, what does that mean? That means it has got high growth potential. If you've got high growth potential and you like the person and you think it's a good deal, what do? You say, hey, I tell you what, after coffee, let's go have lunch. I'll buy you lunch. You go and sit down for lunch and you tell him, tell me more about the business idea. And now you're running in your head, is it valuable? Can it be copied? Right? Is it substitutable? And things, all the questions that Barney's questions running in your head. If he meets those, wow, that's an on thing. If he doesn't, you're asking the question. You basically, hey, but it's a good idea, but it's quite common now, you know. How do we make it different? How can it be different? You're asking the right questions. You see my point? Then after that, you can decide whether to go ahead and to invest in the idea or not. You understand? So this is a very practical instrument. I'm telling you this, guys, simply because even in my area, I will go sometimes for lunch into a restaurant and I look at the restaurant, I'm thinking like, why would anybody put $200,000 or $300,000 to run this thing when I know, based on my calculation and my understanding, it will not last? So I always go to the restaurant, and usually with my wife. So I always take a bet with her. I look at the thing and I'll analyze and I'll say, how long do you think this business will last? So we compare. I always win. You know why I always win? Because I don't teach her any of these instruments. Any good Shaolin master will not teach everything, especially to his wife. Because at home I lose every time. But in the business environment, in a restaurant or any business, I'll ask her. She gets irritated with me for asking this question. I'll say, why are you so stable? I said, no, somebody has spent $300,000. We need to understand why. They should have come to me first. They didn't. Now let's analyze. And reluctantly, she will give me a time and date. And I also will do the analysis. And true enough, later it will be well proven that she's well wrong. And I'm quite happy with that. It makes my day. I don't know about you guys. Think about it. So this one is good for business as well as for your emotional well-being in your relationship with your wife. You can thank me later. All right. So applying Xavier's and high growth will ensure that your business is robust. It's robust. Questions, good questions, not silly questions like, oh, the shop, where is it? The color, this and a nonsense question. Don't waste your time. All right, don't waste your time. So you need high growth and you need feasibility. All right. So this is an exercise that we might have. Now, only then will you do a business plan. What did we do just now? We were testing the idea. Remember, I always tell you, we always test the idea first. Don't go and write a business plan. A business plan is hard work. I have actually written business plans. I've written many business plans that didn't work. I've written business plan where we have got funding, sing $30 million. So I kind of like know what I'm talking about. It's hard work. Writing a business plan is hard work. Don't go there, right? Until you're sure that the idea works. I give you another piece of advice, free of charge, not within your tuition fee. And it is this, Gaddafi, don't laugh. Bugger, see, Gaddafi, I share good things with him, he laugh at me. Chan, can you later have a chat with him? So anyway, my point is this. One day, Hairi goes home. Okay, like he goes home every day. I didn't mean one day. Hairi goes home. Hairi, and then Hairi's kid, young son, he see Hairi in this scenario has only got one son, his wife and the son. And then the son just finished his Form 5 and he don't want to study anymore. And he says, I want to open a computer shop. Then Hari said, well, why do you want to open a computer shop? Don't you want to study? He said, no, I don't want. I'm not interested because I play computer games every day. So because I play computer games every day, I know all about this computer stuff and I want to open a computer gaming shop, he said. So now Hairi pun susah hati sebab serba salah lah sebab this boy is his only son and he's hard to manage lah, never listen, the mother so sad. And Hairi's got some money lah, EPF money ke apa ke, he got about 300,000 ke. So, and this boy doesn't want to study. Hairi was thinking to spend on his education. And the boy joined his friends and still doesn't want. And then on top of that, the boy said, I got a friend who's a partner also, we will do together, we will run. So something for him to do lah. So after much pressure on Hairi, emotional pressure, Hairi pun, okay lah, tak apalah, my only son. Okay, how much you need? He said, need 250,000. Okay, fine. Hairi give him the money. So the boy goes and so-called starts the business. I can almost guarantee you in less than 2 years, not only is the business gone, the money is also gone. Oh God. But that's not the point. The point is this. You think it's easy for Hairi to say no to his son? It's not easy, right? It's not easy. Talk is easy, lah, but these are family. And so you know what? After studying this subject today, you know what Hairi will do? Hairi will turn around to his son and say, oh, you want to do that? You don't want to study further, but you want to do this? Great idea. All right. I think it's very interesting. Tell me more. So the guy will tell about the idea. Then you know what? Hairi will tell him, okay, I'll tell you what, write a business plan. Write a business plan. I will take a look at it and then we'll see whether we can, do this business or not. Hairi, I guarantee you lah, he will say yes and he'll never come back to you. No, Hairi didn't say no. Hairi is a good father. He didn't use the word no. Don't use the word no. Then your son get angry, your son leave the house. Oh, yeah, not nice, right? Not. You just be cool. You be the Shaolin master. Yes, good idea. Write a business plan. A business plan is hard to write. Right? Very challenging. A lot of things to take into consideration. It will take him 2-3 months. He doesn't have the discipline, right, to play a game for 2 hours. He's not going to write a business plan, trust me. So I'm just giving you an example, but this is the fact out there, and this is how you might handle it. And if you do want to go ahead with the idea, you must test it first. So let's go now. We've talked about the instruments, which are very powerful. Now we go to business plan, right? But the important thing to remember that plans are worthless, but planning is everything. What does Dwight Eisenhower mean by this? What he means is, guys, many people misunderstand this, right? The minute you write the business plan, the minute you write it, the minute you write it, it's outdated. Why? Because it's a dynamics, right? dynamics. I remember one of the key things that really bothered me, was when I was writing the business plan for the Singapore venture capitalists. Me and my team, now 4 of us, and those guys were brilliant guys, by the way, the 3 other guys, 2 guys from India and 1 guy from Indonesia. And you know where I really got stuck? In salaries, because I was never in HR. So how much do you pay a system analyst? How much do you pay a van driver? I didn't know. And I didn't know who to ask. Simple things like that will get you stuck. And also times are changing, right? So plans are worthless, or planning is everything. So it's a bit of both. You can go and read about business plans and all. I don't want to talk about that, but I want to bring you home to very practical things, right? The first thing to ask is, are you in tune, right? Are you in tune? That means when you are writing your business plan, is it realistic? You need to have a sounding board. Don't think you can go it alone. Ask somebody else. Like me, I had big problems on areas that were gaps in my knowledge, And it's not that I can ask my business partner, because one guy is Indonesia, the other 2 guys are from India. They have no clue. Because on the ground, when I'm running the Malaysian office and setting it up and paying salaries, I got to know. Right now, it's different. So having a sounding board, checking with people, you need to do that. Right? Are you in tune? Are you realistic? The other thing is, don't be clumsy. You want to write a business plan and you want to use OPM, other people's money. Don't be clumsy. Don't do like sometimes some people do their assignment, right? Spelling also wrong, formatting also wrong, right? Key details are missing. That's very weak, right? That's called being clumsy. So don't be that, because people sometimes who are reading your plan don't know you. Their impression is formed by what they read. And if you can't do a spell check, how are you going to manage 30 million Sing dollars? I don't think so. I gotta be. What do you think? If it was your money, would you give it to somebody who couldn't do a spell check?
Obviously.
Exactly right. So this is the real things I share with you, okay? Because unlike other people who may teach you something, I've been there and I've done it, right? And pretty successfully too. But never mind, that's another story. So this I'm going to wash my 7 Series BMW. Shit. Okay, never mind. You need a you need a rigorous business model. You need a rigorous business model. Right? What does a business model mean? How will you make money? How exactly will you? Because business model is nowadays very tricky. If you look at Facebook, you don't pay anything. Where's the money coming from? That's what we mean by business model. Where exactly do you generate the revenue? You need something that's rigorous. All right. Look at how hypermarkets work. Like you look at the electronic hypermarkets of Lazadas and Shoppees. How does it work? Where does the money come from? Right. I remember talking to a billionaire, literally, Indian guy in Africa. Right. And he went and ran that business there when he was 21 years old, because business in India is tough. He went to Africa. I can tell you some stories about it, because I used to sit with him, And you know what he says? Just to share a bit with you. I don't want to make any profit. This is one profit. I just want your money to move through my company. That's all. That's all. How cool is that? The bastard, call him bastard because I'm jealous. I'm sitting in the Palace of the Great Hotel here. Apa tu? Palace of the Mines one, Mines one those
Palace
days.
Golden Horses, Palace Golden
Golden
Horses.
Horses, besar kan? Besar. Tall. Then he said, yeah, my house, I need to get this sort of curtains, because the height of the ceiling is this high. His house, bastard. Chan, did he have to say that and make me feel small? He makes tons of money. And his philosophy is, I don't want a profit. No profit. Just make sure that your transaction moves through my company. I don't give a shit what you're doing. banking, finance, business, trade, you name it. He's come to such a level where he just needs your money to move. When your money moves to his company, he makes enough money. Oops, what business model is that? That class you have to pay separately for. Okay, sorry, bye. Okay, now next one. Highlight your business value. When you do a business plan, you must highlight what is your value, show off. Tell people, what is your value proposition? Tell people. Why not? Don't expect people to imagine it. You should tell, because this is now your business plan territory. It's brass tacks. Here's where as they say, the wheel hits the ground, This is where, reality. Destination, where do you want to go? Where do you want to take your business? What is your forecast? Nobody's interested in your business to run it for 20 years. Nobody's interested. Do you want to work for the next 30 years? No. Well, some of you may. Okay, disregard that. But my point is, you're going to have to tell them how they're going to get their money back, and usually 5 years is the sweet spot. Anything more than that, nobody wants to listen. Okay. The other thing is keep it simple, right? Don't go and use big words, right? Some of you may be listening to me, and as a professor, I use big words because I have to impress my students, so that you all think, oh, this guy knows some difficult words. But in reality, when you write a business plan, it has to be simple. Don't use technical words that is in your industry, because the person who's investing in your business may not be from your industry. You understand? Even in the techno industry also, in the digital economy, there are many different areas, blockchains and this and that, they all got different terminology. But the people who are investing it could be just broadly in finance industry. So be careful and be clever about it. Tell it truthfully. This is important. Mention the good, the bad, and the ugly, and keep it real. Keep it real, because the person who's reading it, if he's got 100 million to invest, trust me, he's been around the block a few times. You can imagine, right? So he knows. So what do we mean by the good, the bad, and the ugly? Meaning to say, what's good about business? Of course, you mentioned everybody would do that. But also, what's the weakness? What can go wrong? You must mention that. Why? Because you're trying to tell them that, look, I'm pretty stable here. I understand what's going on. I know the black and the white. I also know the gray, right? And because I know that, I can have contingencies and I can do something about it, all right? Because the most important thing over and above your business model is the team. And who's the team? That's you, right? So, because if the model is not working, the team can fix it, right? But if the model is good and the team is lousy, who fixes what? No one. It dies. That is why you find sometimes, all right, some local Malaysian companies, they go and take some fantastic franchise, very good and proven, working. But when they bring it here, what happens? It doesn't work. Why? Because of the team. Because of the team. So you can see why. So that's the logic behind it. All right. Next is focus on cash flow. Cash is king. Cash is the blood within the system. In your body, if there's no blood, what happens? No chance. You will not die. You will never watch movies. You become a zombie. Yeah. Zombie got no blood in their bodies. They're walking around. So cash flow is important. I really love to laugh. I ask some people, some friends, I'm like, hey, how's your business doing? Good, our business is good. Nobody tells you the business is bad, which means you already know they are in trouble. But anyway, it doesn't matter. How's your business? Oh, good. Making profit, profit. Yeah, we're making profit. We went and sold something. Here's the invoice, $1 million. Profit is good. No. Right. An invoice is not your cash in the bank. All right. It's a long way off. Right? That's another subject matter, but cash flow is important. Just think about that. The other thing is benchmark. When you do a business plan, you need to benchmark. That means you cannot just say this. You must understand that industry average returns on industry average in terms of net profit, gross profit, margins, and everything. There is an industry average. If you're in the industry, you know. So you say that, oh, in the restaurant industry, a net returns of 35%. Now, if the net returns on industry is 35%, what is your net return? You must be able to show that my net return is 46% and why. You understand? Because the investor is looking for that. Otherwise, if the industry is 35 and you're making 35, what the hell am I sitting with you for? Yes or not? I'd rather go and sit in Professor Roland's class. I mean, like so exciting. Anyway, so the last part, number 10, contingency. What if your plans go wrong or too right? Always got to have a contingency. Life is like that. You must have a contingency. So some of you thinking like, oh, but contingency, what if things go wrong? You all know what happens. What? Let's say if Hyrie starts a business and Hyrie says, I'm going to run a business and I'm going to sell 1,000 units a month. And if it goes wrong, he's only selling 300 units. Oh, that's going wrong. Because he planned for 1,000 units, he's only selling 300. It goes wrong. Okay, we all know that. But what if it goes too right? Oops. What does too right mean? Hyrie's plan was to sell 1,000 units in the first 3 months, every month 1,000. But you know what? He's got orders now for 100,000 units per month. Oops. Too right. Guys, if you understand, too right will kill your business. It will kill your cash flow. It will kill your operating expense because you have to buy raw material. You have to do something, isn't it? To do that 100,000, but you only planning was for 1,000. Macam mana? You know, it'll kill your business. You have to be very careful. So a lot of people, they plan for what can go wrong. They forgot to plan for what can go right. So because that can kill your business equally, right? It can jeopardize your cash flow, right? And don't forget, you may say, oh, I've got so much orders, I'll get more money. From where? You got no reputation. You just started 2-3 months. I don't even know. Can't even see your books, nothing. How? Cannot, isn't it? So this is some of the real things. If you've actually run or going to run something, it's something that we want to think about. So guys, that's it. We've done the instruments and everything. And we've done the business plan. Does that make sense? Any questions? Any questions?
Good session. Good session.
I tell you, the only person who's losing marks in this class fast is Chan. Gaddafi, Hyrie just now got some marks for some reason because Gaddafi is now very, very adroitly and very yoga-like came in and he took some marks because he agreed fully. And it was a very useful session.
Why, sir? Why? Why me, sir?
Hello, don't you know, I have no marks. Some students say, oh, sir, give me the marks. I said, no, I have no marks to give, right? I can only take from somebody and give to somebody else in order to get that proper curve. So
No,
now
just now, sorry, sir, just now I saw some very interesting title underneath what Gem team leader is, and so I did a screenshot trying to paste it on my Word now. That's why I'm not responding to you. It was a very important person, sir.
Yeah.
Next level, Chan. Next level. That's next
No,
level.
I'm
Oh,
serious.
level tinggi. Next level.
No, I
I'm
call it
serious, sir.
Gaddafi.
If you let me,
Gaddafi tak ada. Aku panggil tu desperation.
if you let me show you my screen, share my screen now, I'll show you. I'm really screenshotting in my
No,
Word.
not allowed. No,
That-
then Hyrie will show his screen. Gaddafi.
That's long tail, Chan. That's long tail.
I don't know.
sustainability.
I don't know. I worry about you guys. Got get your heads checked, lah. That's all I can say. Huh? You're in trouble. So anyway, guys, hey, yeah, you all don't talk so much because Hairi has got a flight. I don't know, Chan, are you aware? Hairi just the start said he's got a flight, and he was worried that my class would go over 1 hour. What a silly thing! It's another big joke.
Program directors for entrepreneurship, GERA board members, and GEM national team leader, Bank Raya School of Business and Entrepreneurship. Yep.
Our friend verifying.
No name mentioned, Chen, eh? No name mentioned, eh?
No. We don't have two. Too famous.
Hey guys, y'all, I'm telling you, a class is supposed to be serious, where we're supposed to be thinking and sad. So I have no idea. I think you all have lost the plot. And please don't inform top management about this because then they will frown upon me. We need to change. Okay, anyway, right. So thank you guys for your attention. Much appreciated. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourself and have a good flight, Hairi. Back to
Thank you,
KL.
Prof.
Right. So that'll be fun. So just work on your assignment, see what you can understand from here, see how you can apply, find a way, put it in, right? Make it more interesting, more exciting, and make your work more robust and a little bit more sophisticated, right? It's good learning all around. All right, guys. So if there's nothing else, thank you very much. And I will see you again next week for sure.
Thank you,
All right.
sir.